Hello, everyone. Alexander Love here. Happy to be here with all of you today. And in this video, what I'm going to do is explore the second key to unlocking the prism. Now, if you haven't watched the video where I introduced the prism, I would click that little thing at the top of the screen and watch that first. To review, the prism describes the deepest aspects of who we are. It describes how we know the world. It describes the reality of the world that we experience, the beingness, both out there and in here. The prism also includes the way in which we move with the world, the way in which we interact with the world. And finally, the prism invites us into the possibility that the way that we know, the reality that we experience, and the way in which we interact with one another and the world are all in a process of becoming. They're all in a process of growing, transforming, and changing. Understanding the prism and discovering the keys to unlock it open up a vast territory of how we can support meaningful transformation in the world. And so in this video, I'm going to explore with you the second key. If you'd like to watch the video on the first key, you can find that up at the top of the screen. You can click on that and watch that too. The second key to unlock the prism organizes the prism in the following way. We begin by looking at how we are interacting. From there, we see how the ways in which we are interacting or practicing in this world changes our experience of being, which then changes the way that we make meaning. So with this second key, we start with practice. Now, it reminds me, a friend and colleague of mine, Bob Dunham, has said, we are always practicing something. So while very often we may think of practices as something that we consciously do, I'm going to practice meditation. I'm going to practice going to the gym. I'm going to practice doing a pull-up, something like that. Every time that we move, we are practicing. Every time that we shake hands, we are practicing interacting with the world in a particular way. The ways in which we practice, especially the ways that we unconsciously practice, are perpetually informing our state of being. So if I practice walking through the world as someone who is small, someone who is invisible, if I practice walking in the world in that way, then that is going to evoke the state of being, the reality of smallness, which is going to color the way in which I am interpreting the world. For example, if I'm walking in the world practicing smallness and it's evoking a sense of smallness as a state of being, then I may look at others and assume, well, they wouldn't want to hear anything that I had to say. Why would they want to talk to me? I'm small. I'm invisible. To unlock this key, what it requires that we do is take a look at how we are moving with the world, how we are interacting with the world, how we are practicing showing up as a human being. You can take a look at how are you typically moving through the world as you interact with others in it. Do you hold yourself as small? Do you hold yourself as aggressive? Do you hold yourself as detached? Do you hold yourself as overly wanting to connect? How do you interact with others? What are you practicing as an interactive being? And then what you can do is take a step back and take a look at how you are moving in the world, how you are moving in your body, and ask yourself, is this the way that I want to move? And if the answer is no, then you can try on a different disposition. At Newfield, we teach various body dispositions where we learn how to embody different aspects of how we can move in the world. And this immediately begins to change our inner sense of being. It changes the ontological reality of how we experience ourselves in the world. So you step back, you find an area in your life where you're moving in a way that maybe gives a different message than the one that you're wanting to give. Maybe it's producing states of being that are not feeling like your deepest potential. Then you can alter how you move. Try finding a body posture that feels like it's an expression of that deeper potential. And then practice moving that way. And notice that as you practice moving that way, your state of being will change. And at the same time, the way that you view the world, the way that you view yourself, your observer will change. I hope that this video is helpful for you, and I would invite you to put it into practice. These ideas only go so far as ideas. Their real potential, their real transformative potential comes through taking these ideas and putting them into practice. So I invite you to try this second key to unlocking the prism and see what happens.